Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hey, what's up? My name is Victoria and on my channel I make videos all about motherhood inspired by nature. So if you're into any of the crunchy minded mom topics, then I think you'll love the videos I make on my channel, and I would love it if you hit the subscribe button and join my community. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about where to buy raw milk. Raw milk seems to be all the rage nowadays. A lot of people are looking for raw milk, which I absolutely love. It's one of the core foundations of an ancestral diet, eating and nourishing traditions, the Weston A. Price Foundation. All of those different agencies promote raw milk, and raw milk has been such a game changer for me and my family as well. And so I have learned a lot about raw milk over the course of my nourishing foods journey, and I actually recorded a video which I'm going to link it above and in the description, so you don't have to click on it now, but I highly suggest that when you're done with this video you go and watch that video, because that is a hands-on look visiting a raw milk farm, talking to my friend Kelsey. She sits on the board at the Raw Milk Institute, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and it is just like mind-blowingly packed with information about raw milk. So please watch that video. But anyway, watch this video first. Don't leave. Watch this one first. So I wanted to make a video specifically about where to find raw milk to buy, because I know that a lot of people are looking for it now. And I am passionate about helping people make sure that they're getting their raw milk safely, because there are some places where you can get raw milk that's not safe, that's not really safe to be drinking, could be full of bacteria, and you could get sick from it. If a cow is not healthy, if the milk is dirty, if the environment is not clean, if the cows are not taken care of, then you could get sick from raw milk. So anyway, in this video, I want to talk about where to go to find raw milk, where to go to buy it, how to know that your source is going to be a trustworthy, clean source for raw milk that you can trust and nourish your family with. So let's dive into the video. Also, I unashamedly have notes on my phone. So if you see me referencing that, then that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my notes for this video. So I have a couple sources for you for where you can go to look and find farms in your area for raw milk. So my number one recommendation for where to go is this website, which I'll link in the description, but it is rawmilkinstitute.org. Okay, so currently in the United States, there is no overarching set of rules or guidelines for raw milk farmers to make sure that raw milk is being produced safely. And so because of that, you have a lot of farmers that are just kind of winging it, or maybe they're not winging it, maybe they're dairy farmers, and a lot of them are doing it safely, but you have some that may not be doing it in the safest way possible because maybe they just don't know. So what the Raw Milk Institute does is they are a foundation that specifically helps mentor farmers and train farmers to produce raw milk safely. And they came up with a set of standards, the gold standard, if you will. And so if you find a farm that is a Raw Milk Institute certified farm, you know that you are drinking safe, clean raw milk. Unfortunately, the Raw Milk Institute there are not a lot of farms that are listed. I think there's like probably less than 50 across the whole country. I got super lucky that there was a farm right in my county in North Carolina that was Raw Milk Institute listed. And my friend that I filmed the video with, Kelsey, that's her farm, and her job is to help mentor farmers. So I learned a lot of this information from her, and I got really lucky that she happened to be right in my town near me. But anyway, there's not a lot of farms listed, but my number one place that I recommend for people to go to find raw milk in their area is to the rawmilkinstitute.org, because if you can find a farm in your area that's RAWME certified, you are going to know that they have good, clean milk. So go check out their website first. If you look on their milk finder on their website and there is no farm that is in your area listed on their website, or it's not one close to you, then I have other tips for you as well. So the next place you can go is to realmilk.com or getrawmilk.com. So both of these websites, one of them is by the Weston A. Price Foundation. Both of them are just raw milk search indexes, search websites where you can go in, type in your zip code, and there's most likely going to be a farm close to you. There's like hundreds and hundreds of farms, and you can visit their website and you can reach out to them that way. Another place that you can look for raw milk farms is asking in your local Facebook groups, especially local Crunchy Mom, Natural Mom Facebook groups. A lot of people I see post all the time in the ones I'm in where people are asking for raw milk. So if you haven't looked to see if you have a local Facebook group, then you could always try to find one, join that group, and ask the other like-minded moms in your area where they're getting their raw milk from. Another place that you can go to is local farmers markets in your area or in your city. I know here in Austin, there's several farmers markets and there are lots of farms that sell there and some that are dairy farms too. So you can always ask if they have raw milk or if they know of any sources for raw milk. Now, if you end up searching the realmilk.com or getrawmilk.com, or you get a local reference, then I want to give you some questions that you can ask your raw milk farmer. I truly believe that these questions are really important to help you get an overall gauge of how the farmer is taking care of their farm and their cows and what their milking process is like. Now, Kelsey and I did go over these questions in the video that I filmed last summer, but I'm going to go over them again here just so that it's all in one spot and you can have it all in one section with all your references for the questions that you should be asking your farmer so that you can know if they're producing raw milk safely. Okay, so of course there are some obvious questions because obviously you want your farm to be a clean farm. You want to be getting your milk from a clean source and a farm that takes care of their cows and their cows are living happy, clean, sanitary lives. So some of the obvious questions are your cows in the pasture? How much are they in the pasture? Go to the farm and look at the pasture. Make sure it's green and grassy and big, that there's acres of pasture if they have multiple cows. Like, make sure that there's enough space for the cow to be living a clean, healthy life and not stepping in their own manure all the time or laying in their own manure all the time. You can also ask, what are the cows eating? What do you supplement your cows with? Do you supplement them with anything? I do want to make a note here that I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if the farmer is supplementing their cows with grain, specifically in states that get really cold in the winter and there isn't always a fresh source of grass. You want your cows to be healthy. Lactating cows need a lot of calories, just like breastfeeding moms need a lot of calories. So yes, absolutely, you want the cow to be primarily grass-fed on pasture all day long. But if they supplement with grain during feeding time or something like that, it's not the end of the world, at least in my opinion. And just keep that in mind, that not all grain automatically means it's a bad choice, because you want your cow to be nourished. You want your cow to be healthy so that your milk can be healthy too. You don't want your cow to be in a caloric deficit because she doesn't have grass to eat and the farmer's not supplementing her with grain or with enough food. So just keep that in mind. Another question to ask is, are your cows disease free? Ideally, you would want a farmer who is testing their cows periodically. Doesn't have to be all the time, but periodically for some diseases. Some of the main diseases are tuberculosis, BLV, BVD, Johne's, and brucellosis. So if they are testing their cows periodically for those diseases, or at least whenever they introduce new cows into their herd, then that's a good sign. When you go to the farm or when you email your farmer, you want to make sure that the cows are healthy. Sick cows can be a big risk for mastitis, and mastitis can be a big risk for E. coli. And so you want your cows to be in clean pastures and just overall look and be taken care of and be healthy, because a healthier cow is going to produce healthier milk. Another question that I personally love asking is, how do you clean your cow's udder before milking? And do you strip the teats before you milk? The general standard of practice among dairy farmers, I believe, is that you want to use friction and a soap to clean the udder and then use a pre-dip iodine on the teat before milking the teat, because cows lay down in the dirt, they lay down in their manure, and if their teat is not clean, the pre-dip iodine helps to get rid of any of the bacteria that's going to be on the outside and in the teat canal, because you don't want those particles and that bacteria coming out when you milk. Another thing is stripping the teats before milking. Depending on how often the farmer is milking their cow, it could be 12 hours, it could be 24 hours in between milking sessions, and there could be milk just sitting in the teat canal, and you don't want that milk to go into your raw milk. You want that to be discarded out because that milk could be full of bacteria. And so I think it's always great practice and always a really good sign to me if the farmer says that they do strip the teat before putting the pump on or before milking. Another great question is, do you clean your equipment, or how do you clean your equipment? Tell me the process of how you clean your equipment. Another question is, do you use an enclosed pump system? Which basically means that the kind of pump is going to be the type where it goes straight on the teat and then straight into a container, and it's closed and it never touches like the air or dirt or buckets or anything. It goes straight from the udder into a closed container, which can then be poured into jars and put right into the fridge. Another question is, how quickly is your milk 40 degrees? And kind of standard is you want the milk to be 40 degrees in less than an hour. Another question is, do you test your milk for bacteria? It's pretty easy and fairly simple to get on-farm labs. And so from the Raw Milk Institute, all of those farms are going to be testing their milk periodically. I think it's at least monthly, but a lot of them do it even more, to make sure that the milk has low in bacteria like coliform and E. coli, and different bacteria like that, to make sure that it is safe. And so to me, that's a huge green flag. If the farm tests their milk, then that means that they are aware, they probably have safe practices, and they're testing their milk so they can know and make sure that they are doing things safely. So yeah, those are the questions I asked the different farms that I was, when we moved to Austin here, the different farms where I was trying to figure out where I was going to get my raw milk from. And I actually got really lucky because I found a farm that's like within 30 minutes of us here, that she's not quite RAMI certified yet, but she's going to be later this year. She's very conscious of, different cleanliness standards, test the milk, test the cows, and just like the overall quality of the milk. And she really, really loves her cows. And so I feel super, super lucky that it just so worked out that I was able to find her farm, because if you look on the Raw Milk Institute website, there are not that many farms in Texas. So the fact that our worlds collided just perfectly when I moved here is just like incredible, and really feels like it was meant to be. So that's a little update about that. If you're curious how I'm finding my sources of raw milk now that we moved states, that's how I'm doing it. And even if this farm specifically that I'm using for raw milk, even if I wasn't able to work with her and she wasn't close to me, these would be the questions I talked about in this video. These would be the questions that I would be asking every farm that I interview, reaching out and visiting their farm, because raw milk is a big thing. It's a big decision for your family. It's usually going to be pricier. And of course, it's like very nourishing and well worth it. But I think it's very worth it to pay a little extra to make sure, especially if you're drinking it while pregnant or feeding it to your kids, to make sure that it's being done safely and in a clean and healthy, happy cow, and just a good farm and a good farmer relationship for you to have. So I hope that this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about these 10 different questions that I listed. I'm definitely not like the raw milk expert. I don't have my own cow, but over the years of my nourishing traditions and ancestral diet journey, and just like getting more nourishing foods into my family's diet, I have learned so much about raw milk and the raw milk industry. And I see questions go up in Facebook groups all the time about raw milk and how to know if it's safe and stuff. And so I just wanted to make this video to be like clear on, this is how you can find safe raw milk. There is a way, and I want everybody to have access to it. So I hope it was helpful. Be sure to watch the other video that I filmed with Kelsey as well. I will link it below, and I'll also link all of the websites that I listed below in the description box too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay wild. Bye.